The email notification hit my phone at 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday morning that would change everything. Lake House booking confirmation. Dates: Friday, October 15th through Sunday, October 17th. Guest name, Gregory Woods. Payment method, our joint credit card. I sat there in my work truck outside the Riverside Gardens development site, coffee getting cold between my hands, staring at that screen like it might rearrange itself into something that made sense. Gregory Woods, Laura's client at Pinnacle Real Estate Investment. The guy she'd been meeting for marketing strategy sessions every Thursday for the past 3 months. See, I'm Daniel Carter, 35 years old, and I've been managing construction crews for 15 years, building townhouses and subdivisions around Richmond, Virginia. I know when something doesn't add up. When a foundation's crooked, when materials don't match the invoice, when subcontractors are padding their hours. And I sure as hell know when my wife of 9 years books our family lake house for a work retreat without mentioning it to me. That lake house isn't just property to me, it's legacy. My grandfather built it with his own hands in 1967 on 8 acres overlooking Smith Mountain Lake in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Pine logs he cut himself, stone fireplace he mortared rock by rock, dock he hammered together board by board during summer weekends when my dad was just a kid. The place where Laura and I honeymooned 9 years ago, where we brought 6-month-old Cooper for his first fishing trip, where we celebrated his 6th birthday last month with a tournament he actually won, catching 3 bass before I'd even gotten my line wet. And she was taking her lover there, to my grandfather's sanctuary, to the place where 3 generations of Carter men had taught their sons to fish, to work with their hands, to understand that some things in this world are sacred. I forwarded the email to Jake Morrison, my site foreman and the closest thing I've got to a best friend. Jake's 42, been married to the same woman for 22 years, survived 3 teenagers, and has opinions about everything from drywall installation to marriage maintenance. His response came back in 30 seconds. "Brother, what the hell is this?" I called him from the truck, watching my crew start their morning routine of unloading tools and checking yesterday's work. "Remember Gregory Woods, Laura's big client she's always meeting? Rich boy with the BMW and the attitude problem? The one who showed up at Cooper's birthday party like he owned the place?" That's right. Gregory had come to Cooper's party at the lake house last month. Said he was in the neighborhood, wanted to drop off some marketing materials for Laura. Stayed for 2 hours, complimented my grandfather's craftsmanship, asked detailed questions about the property value, the acreage, the privacy. I'd thought he was just being friendly. Now I realized he was scouting. "That's him, Jake. He just booked our lake house for this weekend." Long silence. Jake's not a man who rushes to judgment, but when he processes information, you can practically hear the gears turning. "Daniel, you sure about this? Maybe there's a legitimate explanation. Corporate retreat? Team building thing?" "Jake, she's been working late every Thursday for 3 months. Yesterday I found a Victoria's Secret receipt for $300 hidden in her purse. When's the last time you saw Laura in anything that wasn't yoga pants and my old construction company t-shirts?" Another pause. "What are you gonna do?" Good question. What was I gonna do? I could confront Laura directly, but that would give her time to spin some story, delete evidence, make me look like the paranoid husband who couldn't trust his successful wife. I could hire a private investigator, but by the time I got concrete proof, they'd have spent a weekend desecrating my family's sanctuary. I could show up at the lake house unannounced, but that felt too reactive, too emotional. Or I could get creative, think like the project manager I'd trained myself to be. See, the thing about managing construction projects is you learn to think systematically. Every job has phases: site preparation, foundation work, framing, finishing. You identify your resources, coordinate your timeline, anticipate problems before they become crises. You don't just react to setbacks, you plan around them, you use them. First phase, intelligence gathering. I needed to understand the full scope of what I was dealing with. I spent my lunch break that Tuesday driving to Pinnacle Real Estate Investment, a gleaming glass tower in downtown Richmond that screamed money and ambition. Told the receptionist I was looking for commercial property for a new development, needed someone who specialized in high-value investments. Asked specifically for Gregory Woods because I'd heard he was the best. The receptionist, a young blonde who probably made more than most of my crew, smiled and said Mr. Woods was in meetings all day but would be available Monday. "Actually," she added, leaning forward conspiratorially, "he's taking a long weekend. Personal retreat with his family. Won't be back until Tuesday." Personal retreat with his family. Interesting choice of words. I thanked her and walked out with a company directory that listed employee information. Gregory Woods, Director of Investment Relations, MBA from UVA, specializing in luxury property acquisitions, age 38, married to Melissa Woods. 2 children, Emma 8 and Oliver 6. Home address 4247 Riverside Drive, Richmond. Gregory Woods was married, had kids the same age as Cooper, and according to his receptionist, he was taking a family retreat this weekend. Except he wasn't going with his family, he was going with my wife. That evening, Laura came home at her usual 7:30 with takeout from that expensive Thai place downtown and a story about client demands and quarterly projections. She was animated, almost glowing, talking faster than usual about market trends and investment opportunities, probably anticipating her romantic weekend. "Oh, honey," she said while unpacking containers of pad thai and green curry, "I forgot to mention, I've got a work retreat this weekend, team building thing at some conference center up in the mountains. Really last minute, but Stephen thinks it'll be good for department morale." Stephen Morrison was their marketing director, a decent guy I'd met at a few company parties. "Nice deflection, Laura. Always easier to lie when you mix in just enough truth to make it believable." "That's great, babe." "Where exactly?" "Some corporate place near Lynchburg. You know how these things are. Boring seminars, trust falls, motivational speakers talking about synergy." She laughed, kissing my cheek as she handed me chopsticks. "I'll probably be bored out of my mind." I nodded, ate my pad thai, and started planning phase 2. Wednesday morning arrived with that crisp October air that makes you grateful to work outside. I was on site early, watching my crew frame the second story of a colonial that would probably sell for 400 grand to some young family with big dreams and a 30-year mortgage. The irony wasn't lost on me, building homes for happy families while mine was crumbling. But first, more intelligence. I drove to 4247 Riverside Drive during my lunch break, a tree-lined street in Richmond's West End where the houses started at 7 figures and the driveways were longer than some people's entire lots. Gregory's house was a beautiful colonial, probably built in the 90s, with that perfectly manicured lawn that screamed professional landscaping service and homeowners association enforcement. BMW sedan in the driveway, just like Jake had said. Luxury SUV parked beside it, kids' bikes on the front porch, a pink one with streamers and a red one with training wheels recently removed, a soccer ball in the yard, chalk drawings on the sidewalk, all the innocent debris of childhood that made what I was planning feel both justified and terrible. I sat in my work truck across the street, engine running, watching this perfect suburban tableau and thinking about Cooper, my son, who still believed his parents loved each other, who still asked why mommy was always working late, who'd started sleeping with his bedroom door open because he missed the sound of voices downstairs in the evening. At 2:47 p.m., the front door opened. A woman emerged, blonde, attractive, early 30s, wearing yoga clothes that actually looked like they'd seen a gym. She loaded grocery bags from the SUV while 2 kids played in the yard. This was Melissa Woods, the woman whose husband was planning to cheat on her in my grandfather's house. She looked happy. Busy, probably stressed about typical suburban mom things like soccer schedules and school projects, but fundamentally content with her life. The way Laura used to look before she started staying late every Thursday. I followed her to the Whole Foods on Grove Avenue, parked 3 spaces away, and found myself in the organic produce section pretending to examine avocados while she selected vegetables for what looked like a week's worth of family meals. "Excuse me," I said, approaching casually. "But is that your kid's artwork I saw on the sidewalk on Riverside, the chalk dinosaurs?" She looked up, smiled. "Oliver's T-Rex phase. He's convinced our driveway needs to be Jurassic Park." "My son's 6, too. Same obsession. I'm Daniel, by the way, new to the neighborhood." The lie came easily, mixed with just enough truth to feel natural. "Melissa. And yes, the dinosaur thing is serious business. Emma, that's my 8-year-old. She's more into gymnastics, but Oliver lives and breathes paleontology." We talked for 20 minutes while she shopped. Melissa was warm, talkative, clearly starved for adult conversation that didn't involve school fundraisers or carpool schedules. She told me about Emma's competitive gymnastics team, Oliver's Little League season, how Gregory's work kept him traveling more than she'd like. "Actually," she said, selecting bell peppers, "he's got some important client retreat this weekend. Left me to handle both kids' soccer games solo. Again. That's tough. Construction keeps me busy too, but weekends are sacred. Family time, you know?" "Exactly. Sometimes I think about just showing up wherever he is, surprising him with the kids. Gregory would probably die if we crashed one of his corporate things." She laughed, but I caught something wistful in her voice. Loneliness, maybe. The sense that her marriage had become more about logistics than connection. Kids love surprises, I said, especially when it involves Dad. They really do. Oliver keeps asking why Daddy has to work weekends. I keep making excuses, but honestly, I'm running out of good explanations. Perfect. I filed that information away and changed the subject to safer topics. Neighborhood schools, youth sports leagues, the challenges of raising kids in Richmond. By the time she finished shopping, we'd exchanged numbers, made tentative plans for a playdate between Cooper and Oliver. Melissa Woods was a good person, a devoted mother, a loyal wife who deserved better than what her husband was planning to give her this weekend, which made what I was about to do to her family feel both necessary and cruel. That evening, after Cooper was asleep, I sat in my home office researching pinnacle real estate investment. Gregory's LinkedIn profile painted the picture of a successful professional, MBA from UVA, 12 years in commercial real estate, specializing in luxury property investments. Photos from company events showed him in expensive suits, shaking hands with clients, accepting awards for sales performance. He looked like success, talked like success, probably felt entitled to whatever he wanted, including other men's wives and family properties. I dug deeper, found articles in Richmond business journals mentioning his deals, his expertise in mountain properties and vacation homes, found his company bio emphasizing his commitment to client relationships and personal attention, found a quote from last year's Chamber of Commerce newsletter. Success in this business is about trust. Clients need to know they can count on your integrity, your discretion, your commitment to their best interests. Integrity, discretion, trust. The hypocrisy was almost beautiful. Thursday evening, Laura came home later than usual, around 8:30, with another story about client demands and last-minute project changes. She was excited, talking rapidly about market opportunities and strategic partnerships. Her laptop bag looked heavier than normal, probably packed for her weekend getaway. This retreat should really help with the Q4 numbers, she said, unpacking leftover sushi. Steven thinks if we can land the Morrison account, it could mean promotion opportunities next year. The Morrison account. Another careful lie, mixing business reality with romantic fiction. Laura had always been good at details, at making her stories believable. It's what made her successful in marketing, and what had probably made this affair possible for months without my noticing. That's great, babe. What time do you leave tomorrow? Early. Want to beat the weekend traffic heading into the mountains. She kissed my forehead, her lips lingering just long enough to feel like guilt. You'll be okay with Cooper? Maybe take him to the lake house if the weather's nice. The lake house. She actually suggested I take our son to the place where she was planning to betray our family. Maybe we will, I said. Might be nice to get away from the city for a bit. Phase 3 was about to begin. Friday morning, October 15th, the day everything would change. I woke up at 5:30 a.m., 2 hours before my alarm, mind already running through the final phase of what I'd been planning for 2 weeks. Laura was still asleep beside me, her phone charging on the nightstand, probably full of text messages from Gregory about their romantic weekend getaway. In 12 hours, she'd be at our lake house with her lover. In 18 hours, if everything went according to plan, both their worlds would implode. Laura left at 8:15 a.m. with a weekend bag, designer sunglasses, and that Victoria's Secret lingerie hidden somewhere in her luggage. She kissed Cooper goodbye, told him to be good for Daddy, promised to bring him back something special from her boring work retreat. The lies came so easily now, so naturally, that I wondered how long she'd been practicing. She kissed me too, on the cheek, quick and perfunctory. "Love you," she said, already pulling out her phone to check messages. "Love you too," I replied, watching her load her bag into the Lexus. The last time I'd say those words and mean them. Cooper and I spent the morning at the construction site. He liked visiting job sites, wearing his little hard hat, watching the crews work. Today, he was fascinated by the concrete pour for a foundation, asking endless questions about why we had to wait for it to cure, how we knew it would be strong enough, whether houses ever fell down. "Houses are only as strong as their foundations, buddy," I told him, watching the concrete truck maneuver into position. "You cut corners on the foundation, everything else comes down eventually." "What if someone lies about the foundation?" The question caught me off guard. "What do you mean? Like if someone says it's good but it's really not good, what happens then?" I looked at my 6-year-old son, this innocent kid who somehow understood that lies had consequences, that deception created instability. "Then you fix it," I said. You tear down what's built on lies and start over with something honest. At 11:30 a.m., I made the first call. I used a burner phone I'd picked up at Walmart, disguised my voice slightly with a technique Jake had taught me from his Army days. Speak from your chest, lower your normal pitch, add just a hint of authority. Mrs. Woods, this is Brad from Pinnacle Real Estate. I'm calling about your husband's weekend retreat. Oh, yes? Melissa's voice was friendly, slightly distracted, probably dealing with typical Friday morning chaos, getting kids ready for school, packing lunches, managing schedules. There's been a location change for this weekend's executive retreat. Instead of the Blue Mountain Resort, we're now meeting at a private lake house property. Much more intimate setting for team building and strategic planning. I wanted to make sure you had the correct address in case of emergency. I gave her the address of our lake house, described the route from Richmond, mentioned it was about 2 hours through the mountains. Melissa thanked me, said she'd update her emergency contact information, asked if Gregory would have cell service. Service can be spotty in the mountains, I said, but there's a landline at the property. I'll text you that number as backup. That's very thoughtful. Gregory mentioned this was an important retreat for potential partnerships. Partnerships, right. Absolutely. Mr. Woods has been instrumental in developing these new client relationships. This weekend should really solidify some major opportunities. After I hung up, I sat in my truck feeling the weight of what I'd just set in motion. Melissa trusted me because I sounded professional, because I had details that seemed legitimate, because she had no reason to suspect that a stranger would manipulate her into destroying her own marriage. But Gregory had made this necessary. Laura had made this inevitable. I was just the catalyst for consequences they'd chosen when they decided my family's sacred space was acceptable collateral damage for their affair. Saturday morning, 7:45 a.m., I made the second call. Mrs. Woods, this is Brad again from Pinnacle Real Estate. I have wonderful news about this weekend's retreat. Oh? Mr. Woods specifically requested that executive families be invited for Saturday afternoon activities. He mentioned missing the children and wanting to share this beautiful lake property with everyone. He asked me to invite you and Emma and Oliver to join us around 2 p.m. today. Silence. Then, really? That's so unlike Gregory. He usually keeps work and family completely separate. He's been talking about work-life integration, especially after the company's new Family First initiatives. This retreat has really inspired him to think differently about balance. The kids would absolutely love a lake trip. Are you sure he requested this? It just seems... I understand your surprise, Mrs. Woods. Mr. Woods was quite emotional when he made the request. Said he realized how much family time he'd been missing with travel and weekend commitments. He wants Emma and Oliver to see the property, maybe do some fishing, enjoy the mountains. I could hear her warming to the idea. Melissa wanted to believe her husband was becoming more family-oriented, more present. She wanted to believe their marriage could still be what she'd hoped it would be. What should we bring? Will there be other families there? Just casual clothes, maybe swimming suits if the weather holds. And yes, several other executives are bringing their families. Very relaxed atmosphere. This is such a lovely surprise. I'll pack the kids' things right now. Perfect. The address I gave you yesterday, just follow the main road until you see the blue cabin with the stone chimney. You'll see Mr. Woods' car in the driveway. Everyone's expecting you. After I hung up, I drove to a overlook point about 30 minutes from the lake house and waited. At 1:30 p.m., I saw Melissa's SUV heading up the mountain highway with 2 car seats in the back and what looked like fishing gear strapped to the roof. At 2:15 p.m., I called Jake Morrison. It's done, I said. Jesus, Daniel, you sure about this? I'm sure about protecting what's sacred, Jake. I'm sure about consequences. I'm sure about teaching my son that when people violate trust, there's a price to pay. My phone started ringing at 2:47 p.m. The first call was from Melissa Woods, and I could hear children crying in the background. You sick bastard, she said, her voice shaking between rage and tears. Who the hell are you? What kind of twisted game is this? I pulled over on the side of the mountain highway, hazard lights blinking, and let her vent. Let her call me names I probably deserved. Let her tell me exactly what she'd found when she'd walked up to my grandfather's lake house with 8-year-old Emma and 6-year-old Oliver, excited to surprise Daddy at his work retreat. The kids were calling Daddy, surprise! And we walked right in because you said everyone was expecting us. Emma had made him a drawing at school. Oliver brought his new fishing rod. They were so excited to show him the picture they'd drawn of our family. I closed my eyes, gripping the steering wheel, knowing what came next. And we found him. We found Gregory in your bedroom with that woman, and my children saw their father in his underwear with some blonde slut, and Emma asked why Daddy was wrestling with the strange lady without any clothes on. The image hit me like a physical blow. Two innocent kids witnessing the destruction of their family, their father's betrayal, their mother's humiliation. This was the price of justice, and it felt heavier than I'd expected. "Who are you?" Melissa demanded again. "How do you know about this place? How do you know about Gregory?" "I'm the woman's husband," I said quietly. "I'm the father of the 6-year-old boy whose mother has been lying to him for months. I'm the man whose wife brought her lover to his family's sacred place." Silence. Long, hollow silence except for the sound of children crying and car doors slamming. "You used me," she whispered. "You used my children. Gregory used all of us, Melissa. Laura used all of us. I just made sure the truth came out before they could hurt more people. There had to be another way. There had to be a way that didn't involve traumatizing my kids." She was right, and I had no answer for that. No justification that could make exposing children to their father's infidelity feel like anything other than collateral damage in a war they didn't start. "What happens now?" she asked. "Now you take your children home. Now you decide what kind of life you want to build without lies." She hung up without saying goodbye. The second call came 3 minutes later. Laura screaming, "Daniel, what the fuck did you do? What the actual fuck did you do?" I made sure the truth came out in a place where it mattered, where consequences were real. "You ruined everything. You destroyed 2 families. Gregory's children saw us, Daniel. His 8-year-old daughter saw us in bed together." "I didn't destroy anything, Laura. You and Gregory destroyed your families the moment you decided my grandfather's house was an acceptable place for your affair." "This is insane. This is psychotic. You planned this whole thing, didn't you? You manipulated that poor woman into bringing her kids here." I gave Melissa the truth about where her husband really was. What she did with that information was her choice. "You're sick. You're a sick, vindictive man, and I never want to see you again." "Good. Because you're not welcome in my house anymore. You're not welcome around my son. You chose Gregory over our family, and now you get to live with that choice." "Our house, Daniel. It's our house, our marriage, our life together." "No, Laura, it's my house. My name on the deed, my inheritance, my decision. You wanted excitement, passion, a life bigger than our small family and weekend fishing trips? Congratulations. You got it." The third call never came from Gregory. According to Jake Morrison, who heard the story from 3 different sources over the next week, Gregory Woods had handled the confrontation about as well as you'd expect from a man caught cheating by his wife and children. He'd tried to blame alcohol, stress, midlife confusion. He'd begged Melissa to think about their life together, their future, the children's stability. Melissa had taken photos with her phone. Gregory naked except for boxer shorts. Laura wrapped in my grandmother's quilt. The bedroom that had housed 3 generations of Carter marriages turned into a scene of suburban adultery. Then she'd packed up Emma and Oliver and driven home to Richmond while Gregory scrambled to get dressed and follow them. Laura had stayed at the lake house that night, alone, probably going through our marriage like an inventory list, trying to figure out what could be salvaged. She'd called twice more, both times going to voicemail. I didn't listen to the messages until Monday. Sunday morning, Cooper and I went to church with Jake's family, then spent the afternoon at the park. Normal weekend activities while my marriage imploded 2 hours away in the mountains. Cooper asked where Mommy was, and I told him she was still at her work retreat, that she'd be home soon to talk about some important things. "Is she going to live somewhere else now?" he asked, hanging upside down from the monkey bars. The question caught me off guard. "Why would you ask that?" "Because that's what happened to Marcus Wilson's mom and dad. First his dad started sleeping in the guest room, then his mom went away for a long time, then his dad said she was going to live in a different house, but they'd still be a family. Marcus Wilson. A kid in Cooper's class whose parents had divorced last spring. Cooper had been watching, learning, preparing himself for the possibility that his own family might follow the same pattern. "Would that make you sad?" I asked. "A little. But Marcus says it's better now because his mom and dad don't yell anymore and he gets 2 bedrooms and 2 Christmases. 6 years old and already pragmatic about family dissolution. Already understanding that sometimes change was better than pretending everything was fine." Laura came home Sunday evening, bags under her eyes, mascara-stained cheeks, looking like she'd aged 5 years in 2 days. She found me in the kitchen, calmly making Cooper's lunch for Monday, and we had the conversation that officially ended our marriage. Laura stood in our kitchen doorway like a stranger visiting someone else's house. 2 days at the lake house had transformed her from the confident marketing professional I'd married into something fragile and desperate. Her designer clothes were wrinkled, her usually perfect hair unwashed, her eyes red-rimmed from crying or lack of sleep, or both. "Daniel," she said quietly. "Laura." Cooper was upstairs playing video games, the sound of cartoon explosions and victory music drifting down through the ceiling. Normal Sunday evening noise that felt surreal given what we were about to discuss. "I can explain," she started, then stopped. "No, I can't explain. There's no explanation that makes this okay." "No, there isn't." She sat down at our kitchen table, in the chair where she'd eaten breakfast every morning for 9 years, where she'd helped Cooper with homework, where we'd planned vacations and discussed finances, and pretended we were building something that would last. "How long have you known?" 2 weeks since the email confirmation came through on my phone. "You planned this whole thing. You manipulated that woman, those children, just to hurt us." I stopped spreading peanut butter on Cooper's sandwich and looked at her. "I didn't hurt anyone, Laura. You and Gregory hurt everyone the moment you decided our marriage was disposable and our lake house was available for your personal entertainment. Those kids didn't deserve to see what they saw. No, they didn't. Just like Cooper doesn't deserve to have a mother who lies to him every week about why she's never home. Just like Melissa doesn't deserve to have a husband who cheats on her with his client's wife. Just like I don't deserve to find out my wife is having an affair through a credit card statement." Laura started crying then, the kind of tears that come from accepting something you've been avoiding. "I never meant for it to happen. But it did happen, for months. In hotels, in restaurants, in our family's house. It happened every time you looked me in the eye and lied about working late. It happened every time you kissed Cooper goodnight while planning your next rendezvous. I was lost, Daniel. I felt invisible, like I was disappearing into this suburban mom routine. Gregory made me feel alive again, important, desirable. And I made you feel what? Dead? Unimportant? Invisible? You made me feel safe, comfortable, predictable." She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. "That should have been enough, but it wasn't. So you decided to blow up our family instead of talking to me about it. Instead of counseling, instead of working on us, you decided an affair was easier. I know I was selfish and stupid and cruel, but Daniel, what you did yesterday was cruel too. Using those children, manipulating that woman who never did anything wrong. She wasn't entirely wrong, and that knowledge sat heavy in my chest like a stone I'd swallowed. Melissa Woods and her kids were innocent casualties in a war Laura and Gregory had started. But sometimes innocent people get hurt when the truth comes out. Sometimes that's the price of justice." "What happens now?" Laura asked. "Now you pack your things and find somewhere else to live. The house is mine, inheritance property, my name on the deed. Cooper stays here in his home, his school, his stable environment. You can't take my son away from me. I'm not taking him away. You'll have visitation rights. But he's not going to be shuffled between houses every week like a piece of luggage. He's going to have one home, one stable parent, one place where the rules don't change. Daniel, please, can't we try counseling? Can't we work through this?" I looked at her sitting at our kitchen table. This woman I'd loved for 9 years, this mother of my child, this stranger who'd brought her lover to my grandfather's house. "Do you love him?" "What?" "Gregory, do you love him?" Long pause. Too long. "I thought I did." "That's not an answer, Laura. It doesn't matter now. Melissa took the kids and left. Gregory's probably going to lose his job when this gets around Richmond's business community. His marriage is over, his reputation is destroyed. And you're upset about that?" "I'm upset that everyone got hurt for nothing, that I threw away my family for someone who can't even return my calls now that his own world has imploded." So Gregory had abandoned Laura the moment his comfortable life was threatened. Predictable. Men like Gregory collected other men's wives as trophies until the cost became too high, then discarded them like expensive toys they could no longer afford. "I filed for divorce this morning," I said quietly. Laura's face went white. "You what?" "I called Jake's brother-in-law. He's a family attorney. I filed the papers this morning while you were driving back from the mountains." "Daniel, no, please, give us a chance to work this out." "We're past that, Laura. We've been past that since you decided Gregory Woods was worth more than Cooper's stable home." 3 months later, the divorce was final. Laura moved to Virginia Beach, took a marketing position with a hotel chain, started dating someone from her yoga class. She called Cooper every few days, visited every other weekend, tried to rebuild what she'd destroyed. Cooper was polite, affectionate, but distant. 6-year-olds understand betrayal even when they can't articulate it. Gregory and Melissa's divorce was uglier. She'd gotten the house, primary custody, half his business assets, and a reputation around Richmond as the wronged wife who'd handled her husband's infidelity with dignity. Gregory had quietly left Pinnacle Real Estate, moved to Charlotte, started over with a smaller firm and a diminished reputation. 6 months after that Saturday afternoon at the lake house, Cooper and I were sitting on my grandfather's dock, watching him reel in his 4th base of the morning. The mountains were green with early summer, the water clear enough to see bottom 20 feet down, the air clean and quiet except for Cooper's excited chatter about fish behavior and lake ecosystems. "Dad," he said, casting his line toward the far shore, "do you think Mom misses this place?" I watched my son, healthy and happy, and still young enough to hope his parents might reconcile someday, and felt the complex weight of everything I'd protected and everything I'd destroyed. "I think your mom misses a lot of things, buddy. But sometimes when people make bad choices, they can't have their old life back." "Are you sad she's gone?" "I'm sad our family broke apart, but I'm not sad she's gone because the person she became wasn't really your mom anymore." Cooper nodded like this made perfect sense, then whooped as another fish hit his line. That evening, after Cooper was asleep, I sat on the deck with a beer and thought about justice. Real justice isn't about hurting people. It's about consequences. It's about making sure that when someone violates something sacred, they face the full weight of their choices. Laura had wanted excitement, passion, a life that felt bigger than our small family and weekend fishing trips. She'd gotten exactly that, along with everything that came with it. As for me, I got my son, my house, my self-respect, and the knowledge that when someone threatened everything I cared about, I didn't just accept it quietly. I fought back smart, methodical, effectively. And every time Cooper and I come to this lake house, every time we fish off this dock or sit by this fire, I know that some things are worth protecting. Some boundaries are worth defending, some battles are worth winning, regardless of the cost.